Doing the Easter eggs for season 7, episode 1 of Marvel's Agents of Shield's Beware Spoiler Not Caught Up. I won't be doing a lot of predictions in this episode because it's a late upload and I've already watched the next episode. And I'll be talking about that in the next episode. But yeah, this episode was called The New Deal, which is a reference to FDR's New Deal. I don't 100% know what it was about, other than it was about getting them out of the Great Depression, which Coulson does mention it, reference the Great Depression later on in the episode. But right off the bat, they have the scene with the Chromicons, whatnot. Nothing really of note there, other than that we finally get to see their like what they look like under their human skin, I guess. But we catch up with the team, and it's right after the season 6 finale where Coulson's waking up from his being brought back into an LMD body, and it kind of reminded me of how they they showed Hive's memories, because he had a whole bunch of different memories in his or his whole lifespan. He was going through different people and had got all those different memories from like Ward, Will, and all that kind of stuff. It reminded me of that, and they were spitting out like different things that were happening in the last 2 years. And he says, "I died." That he finds out that Sarge killed May. That he went to Tahiti. That saying it's a magical place. That Talbot became Graviton in season 5. The speech that he gave to the team, saying that he was like us at the season 5 finale, and how Fitz died, and Fitzsimmons had a wedding, and he was the minister, right? Minister, I think it is. Yeah, he like officiated it. Then he references that they're from processing, which is from the future space arc with Deke and all that kind of stuff. That they're saying that they're from processing, and he says a symbol that must carry on, which was the speech that he was trying to give to Daisy, saying that the shield must continue and all that kind of stuff. And I believe that was in the 100th episode, or there was another time that I think there was another time just before Daisy and all them came back to the past, because she wanted to stay in the future, and he said something along the lines that saying that I think something like that. But I could be wrong. It could be just from the 100th episode as well, just the 100th episode. So yeah, but he mentions Ghost Rider, take the deal and whatnot, saying that he's dead already, which is obviously the reference to him becoming Ghost Rider for a bit, to take on Ada. And some people are saying that it's weird that he says, take the deal, I'm dead anyway, which people are assume that he knew that he was dead, he was dying already before Ghost Rider. But that's not what I took it as. I just assumed that he knew Coulson didn't want to be brought back in the first place in the beginning of the series. He was saying, let me die, let me die, let me die. I just assumed that has been a deep-seated like thing going on in his mind, that he knew he's dead, and it would help motivate Ghost Rider to help the Shield team take on Ada. So since he was dead already, that's what I just assumed. That's what he meant by "I'm dead anyway," not that he was actually dying from the Kree Blood. That's what Ghost Rider took. So anyway, they brought up the fact that Mac hates robots, which was a big thing in season 4 with Ada and the LMDs and all that kind of stuff. Which I'm glad they brought that up, because I was really looking forward to seeing how Mac would react to the LMD Coulson and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we catch up more with the team again, and they're brought up to speed that Fitz is not with them, and Deke mentions that Bobo's really not there, calling him Bobo, which is his name for Grandpa and Grandma, which is Nana and Bobo. But he holds up Fitz's, like, I think it was a knife or something like that, which we've seen in season 5, episode 15, when Fitz finds out about Deke being the grandson. So yeah, but Simmons mentions that their brains were scanned from this season 6, episode 6, Inescapable episode, where there was all craziness and whatnot, and they have to stay apart because of that, because they don't want to risk the mission and having being kidnapped again and having them mind scanned again, so they can actually be one step ahead of the Cromcons, but not really. But yeah, they brought up the fact that Deke wanted to go out and get the clothes, or was going to go get the clothes for the team to go out in the 30s, and he says that he's great at navigating the past or whatever, and Yo-Yo brings up that he got stupid drunk and went into jail or went to jail or whatever. But yeah, and he finds out that since they're in the 30s, drink alcohol is illegal, and he mentions that even the Kree back in 2091, they even allowed them to make their own drinks. So it's kind of seeing the differences between the future he had lived in and the past that he's now currently in. So yeah, but they're dealing. They bring up what happened to Yo-Yo in the past episode, which with the strike being in herself, and she's not allowed to leave the Zephyr until it's okay to by Simmons to make sure there's no contagion going out in the world. So yeah, and Coulson mentions that all the memories coming through his head was the worst "This Is Your Life" episode ever, and this is your life is just about celebrities reliving their life with guest stars and whatnot, coming and talking about their experiences to them, something along those lines. I've never actually watched it. That's what I just found out on searching. So yeah, but on to the mission that they actually go to. They actually enter the New York, and they come across right when we first enter New York. They see there's 3 posters in the background. One was Dracula, which is a famous movie. Like everyone should know what Dracula is. But then there's the Phantom of the West, which I'm not 100% sure what that is, other than most likely a Western movie. But there's this movie called Corsair. I don't know if that's the right phrase, right word, way to say it, but it's Corsair. And apparently the movie was about a bootlegger, which is what this episode actually was about. So that's basically kind of foreshadowing the mission that they're going on in this one and the next episode. So I really kind of like that. So yeah, but they're heading they're just getting used to this new world that they're in, or new time they're in, and Deke actually kind of likes it because of the huddled masses that just scrambling for food. And Coulson actually mentions it's the Great Depression, like I said earlier about the title and whatnot, but he's just reminded of his own surroundings when he was growing up in the future. So yeah, and this is kind of predictions ish, because Coulson name drops a few things that could be possible, like time periods we're gonna go to, which I'm not 100% sure what the time periods are because I didn't look them up. But he mentions the Pearl Harbor and Apollo 11, and it's possible that Apollo 11 could tie in with uh, the Gideon Malik family, which was revealed in this episode, because because the Gideon Malik family was always about going into space, trying to rescue Hive. So it's possible that they might have a tie-in there, and with NASA and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that would be true, but it's a possibility. Uh, and they Coles or Fitz or Mac is smart, and he realizes what Deke might do in the past. So he mentions that he's not gonna be able to file any patents because of what happened last season, where he stole all of Shield's tech or alien tech and tried to profit it on with video games and whatnot. So at least Mac had learned his mistake and not actually made keep an eye on Deke. So yeah, and apparently there's this speakeasy, or I think it was a speakeasy, right? But this underground bar that the team has to go to, and it's going to be an SSR base, and there's a password and it's called Swordfish, which was used in a Marx Brothers horse feathers movie, but it was a year or two later than what it is now. But they used the Swordfish code name here. So yeah, and Deke has a little bit of an issue with what Mac's been saying to him, because saying that he feels targeted because of how he was last season. So yeah, you can kind of see where this might be going later on in the season with Deke and Mac. But and I didn't catch this, but some people actually did. But the machine that Enoch was using to fix May looks very similar to the one that was used in Age of Ultron, fixing up Hawkeye. So it's a possibility that it's a more advanced one, obviously. But yeah, and we see that Yo-Yo gets new arms, which look more human, so that she can actually go out and whatnot, and actually can feel more, like actually can feel her skin and whatnot for the first time in like over a year now. So yeah. And talking about the Chromicons, we don't really get actually any names to them, so I don't know what to call them, other than I think one of them was called Abel, and I had to look it up, and apparently there are two people that are in the Bible and whatnot, because all the Chromicons are named after biblical names, and one of the two are Abel and Cain. The other one could be Cain, because there were two Chromicons that were just in the background, so maybe it's Abel and Cain. It could be, but I don't know. But one of the Chromicons actually mentions as I have always been, which is a phrase that Enoch used in episode 6 of season 5, I believe, where he was pretending to be a Kree and whatnot, and he says, "As I always been," and it's actually going to be an episode title in the future, so it's probably going to be based or about the Chromicons or / Enoch and Coulson, because Coulson is now an Chromicon. So yeah, but they Simmons has been very cagey about how much time has passed between the last season and this season, and she's finally getting used to being separated from Fitz all this time, saying that practice makes perfect, and that at the and whatnot. But during the party at FDR's party, Deke actually asks for the finest Zima, and Coulson jokes about a whole new deal, and but they mention Coulson's letter that he wrote to Daisy, in which we don't really know what exactly happened in that letter, but yeah. And the only other Easter egg or whatnot is that the band during that FDR party was called the Zuckerman's Brothers Band, which is actually a reference to the writers of some of the episodes of Agents of Shield, which were the actually sisters, not brothers. So it's a nice little callback there. So yeah, since there's not many, there's not a prediction that I can actually say in this episode. I'm just gonna leave it until next episode or next video. So see ya.